Dear brothers and sisters, today the gospel couldn't be more appropriate than it is. Today we have the gospel of the paralytic, a man who was paralyzed and he could not go to Christ. In the beginning, when Christ was still on earth with us, in the beginning of the new covenant, he said to his flock, "Small flock, do not be afraid, because I will be with you throughout all ages." It is not accidental that Christ calls us a small flock. Because in the vast world that we live today, we are a small flock that continues to fight, to struggle against all kinds of enemies that come our way. From the very beginning of Christianity, we had the Jews persecuting the apostles, and the Romans executing and killing Christians. Finally, Christianity came out victoriously, and an emperor, Constantine, accepted it and allowed Christians to freely go to church and worship. But the devil does not sleep, as he says many times in conversation to the saints. The devil never sleeps and comes up with new and newer and more powerful and stronger, different kind persecutions against the small flock. After Constantine, Christians were living in peace and harmony for several centuries. But that did not last forever. Then we had the invasions of the Arabs and Seljuks, Mongols, and all others. We Christians rose against each other. Iconoclasm, crusades, and all kinds of things that the devil put in the midst of us and made us suffer from it. But again, because the Holy Spirit is leading the small flock throughout the centuries, Christians came out victoriously. But that didn't last very long. As we hear in the beginning of the 20th century, the ghost of the communism is wandering over Europe. Communism came to destroy Christianity. Many churches were turned down, burned, exploded from inside. Many churches were turned into storage places. I grew up in a village where 1,000 years ago, in the monastery that was in our village, there were 1,000 monks. When I was growing up, it was a playground for us and empty. Because communists killed our last priests. But that did not last forever either, because like prophetically minded fathers in the beginning of the 20th century had said, this shall pass too, and communism will go away, and church will resurrect from its own ashes. And it did. Only 70 years, and the church rose again, triumphantly from the ashes, perhaps a little transformed, with scars, with pain, with wounds, with bruises on it. But, however, it did not last forever, and the church was triumphant. The devil does not sleep, dear brothers and sisters. And we had, in the last few decades, all the challenges that we could ever have. You can call it globalism, you can call it individualism, you can call it anything you want, but everything helped our people to walk away from churches. In America, the conditions and situation is better. If you go to Europe, all churches have turned into museums and they are empty. Because of the secularism, which is the mother of all isms, has hit the world and tries to destroy the message of the salvation, the message of the truth. Today we read the gospel of the paralytic. Dear brothers and sisters, today the world is paralyzed. It is paralyzed by a disease that we are powerless. We don't know what to do. We're just waiting for time to pass and see what can happen to us. Scientists who spoke against the church are powerless today. Governments that claim that they can overpower the world are powerless today in front of disease that paralyzed the world. Everybody is quietly waiting to see what's going to happen. But this shall pass too. We Christians know, as small as we are, as powerless as we may feel inside of us, the Lord is with us, and He's guiding us through every disease, every problem, every invasion, every martyrdom, every punishment and execution throughout 2,000 years. Here's the time when we can say, in scientific accuracy, that no matter what happens, Christians will come out victoriously. Because the definition of science is trial and error and find out if something is true, you test it. Christians throughout 2,000 years have tested over and over again that the enemy is always powerless. And we always are victorious. There is a story in the Armenian church history in 451, when Christianity was so young and so fragile in the world, Persians attacked Armenia with 10 times bigger army, with elephants, which were at that time considered the tanks of modern military, and all kinds of weaponry, and Christians, the whole nation, came out into the battlefield and considered that last day of their life, because they knew that they cannot withstand the Persian armies. They were so convinced that this is the last day of their life, that in the battlefield they set up altars to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and all the priests in the country were in the battlefield. They all performed liturgies, and they communed the entire nation, because they were convinced this is the last day of their life, and they should commune themselves with the Lord before they die in the battlefield of Amarat. However, the Lord was victorious. The Persian army was defeated and went back like a dog, tail between their legs. And Christians continued to exist another 2,000 years. Dear brothers and sisters, there are two ways that we need to approach today's paralysis. Number one is that we are to bring our hearts to Christ. Number two, we are to be in peace. And it is not accidental, perhaps. Everything is by God's providence. That in today's morning gospel, Christ came to His disciples and they were in distress because they had lost their teacher. And the first thing He But we do that peacefully. Peacefully and calmly. We don't have to attack the convenience store and buy all the toilet paper. We need to be calm and do the right thing. And one more thing is, if it's destined for any of us to die, the great message of Christianity is exactly about that. It is amazing. We're facing soon the resurrection of our Lord, going through the fasting period. And we are to know that Christ came to defeat death. Not so that we will be immortal living here, but we also can face death with glory and calm and peace. Because death has no power over us. That is the message that we sometimes miss and we do not preach about. That Christians, our religion, our people of resurrection. That suffering and death has no power over us. We can go through both because we know that there is resurrection. Unfortunately, sometimes the Pascha becomes a ritual for us. It's the day that we go to church, unfortunately, the only day we go to church. But every Sunday is a Pascha. Today is a Pascha. Today we are celebrating the resurrection of our Lord, which means for us Christians, life and death have changed their meaning. So, dear brothers and sisters, as Christians, we can live our lives, even if it was 100 years or a second, two different ways. We can, like the thief from the left side of the cross of Christ, turn to him and yell at him and say, "Why is this happening to me?" We can do that. Or, like the thief on the right side, we can turn to him and say, "Lord, remember me in your kingdom when you come in your power and glory." The second kind is the Christian kind. Although on the cross, even the thief was able to be at peace and look at the reality of the situation and get the best out of it. What was the situation? He had lived a life the way he could. And now, because of what he had done, he was crucified. But he knew that Christ was crucified for him. And that through crucifixion, Christ is going to give him also salvation. All he has to do is turn to him and say, "Lord, remember me in your kingdom." Every Sunday we do that, dear brothers and sisters. Every Sunday when I come out with the great entrance procession, that's exactly what I chant. Remember, Lord, when you come in your kingdom. responsibility